Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Everyone, hey, how you doing? And I'm your host, Ben.
And I'm your co-host, Carissa.
Perfect. So, everyone, welcome into today's program. Today, we have a full hour of computer and technology news where we're going to cover the latest headlines, everything from whatever the heck a Squircle is, and we're going to cover SpaceX and how they have been chosen by the FCC to receive like a $1 billion grant to get Starlink up and running for like 23 different U.S. states or 33 U.S. states. So, hey, things like that. We have a lot of Google projects and Google news, some stuff about GE using default passwords, you know, the thing you're not supposed to do on very expensive radiology equipment, all that and more. Everyone stick around. It's going to be fun. So, before we get started, everyone, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, including past shows, future shows, all the shows. You can find that there at our website. We're a little bit behind, but we should get that up and running here after today's program. And then you can find, of course, on any of the podcasting services, you can go there as well. But hey, a very easy way is to go to computeramerica.com and we'll have all the links set up there for you. While you're there, be sure to check out our social media, give us a like, give us a follow, keep up to date on what we're doing. And of course, that helps us out as well. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, whether you're listening to us live on the radio or on the podcast. Hey, thank you so much. So with that being said, I know that it's only been one day, Carissa. Not a lot has happened. I hope so, but how you doing? Everything going well?
Yeah, not bad. I've really updated my Animal Crossing island since yesterday, so it's been very productive.
Very important. Yes, very important. Yeah. You know, and it wasn't even like newsworthy. I always assume that people who have certain agendas on like Twitter and social media and whatnot, and Twitter's a pretty bad one, but someone was calling someone out for having a different looking avatar than themselves, and they were trying to get all politically correct because their skin tone didn't match their Animal Crossing avatar, and did some light doxing, such as like, here's their avatar, here's their island, and here's their username and tag. Man, people are taking that. Well, I say people, I mean that one person is taking that seriously. So.
Right. That's just ridiculous. I mean, there was even like, what are you going to do? Yell at people for using the holiday skins where they're green and purple? Nobody has green or purple skin,
In most fantasy games, I mean, I'm sure that in Animal Crossing in particular, like, I'm sure that you can be, actually, I don't know if they have support for it yet, but I'm sure you could be like animals if you want to. I know they have costumes that you can, set your character up in. But
it's
I know
just the costumes right now, but it's working.
I'm surprised that they haven't let you be one of the other creatures on the island. I mean, there's all the different types of animals on Animal Crossing. Why won't they let you be an animal? That's weird. It's weird to me.
It's super weird. I was thinking about that too. And it's if I ever have the choice, I'm going to pick something that's not human. So the fact that you can't
cat, obviously.
pick one of the animals, like, is just ridiculous to me. It's already programmed in the game. Why not?
Yeah, why not indeed? But I digress. So everyone, today on the show, again, computer technology news, we're going to deep dive into a few topics. Right now I'm looking at, I already have like 15 picked out. Chris is going to grab a few, and hey, we have a lot to talk about. So we can talk about this real quick, but yeah, let's go ahead and let's just start with computer technology news. So here we go. Let's go ahead and play the music and get started because we have a lot to talk about. So perfect. Let's go ahead and let's see. So a lot to talk about. How about we start with something lighthearted, because there's a lot of heavy topics in here, but we can start with this one. Nothing too abnormal about this. Over-the-ear headphones. Carissa, are you a fan of over-the-ear headphones?
I am, but they're not as. It depends on what I'm using them for, but yes.
Right. Here for the show, I use over-the-ear headphones, but I also enjoy open-back ones. For many people who travel, they prefer the noise canceling over-the-ear. It totally isolates you, and, a lot of people really seem to enjoy that. So, hey, but if you were thinking, man, these are great, they do everything that I want, but they don't have an Apple logo stuck on the side of it. Well, hey, here's the thing. Apple will finally make your dream come true, and it'll only tack on what appears to be an extra $300 to $350 for the pleasure. Yeah, these things are expensive. So for the low price of $550, Apple will, and they're called the Airpods Max over-ear headphones. So they're keeping the AirPods name attached to them because obviously this is going into the same market as their AirPods, but they're the Airpods Max. Over-ear headphones with noise cancellation. $549. Apple today announced this new, this new thing that I think is going to be shortened to obviously AirPods Max, even though they are not AirPods by any means, but they look pretty stylish. I will admit, they have Apple's trademark simplicity and, kind of sleek, metallic, silver, white design. It definitely screams Apple. But then again, so does the price. They mentioned that this should go on sale starting December 15th if you were in the market for something like this. And by the way, it comes in a multitude of colors, which you can see here on the screen, not just the silver I was
going to say,
about.
Does it come in different colors? Because for just a white set of headphones, I'm like, oh.
It has to compete with the Bose. Let's face it, that's probably going to be its number one competitor. And even Bose come in at like $150, $200 cheaper than these things. So, I mean, they're a hard sell. Although I will say, Chris, I don't know how much like traveling you've been doing. Like, obviously at the beginning of the year, I went to a lot of airports and, like I did some light traveling. AirPods are everywhere. Like you would think that, things that stick in your ears and play music through Bluetooth, that is a very simple thing. The technology's been around for a while. No one's going to pay Apple for their AirPods. But at the same time, everyone seems to have them. Like, I don't know if they're a fashion statement. I don't know what it is, but they are iconic, and you can definitely tell that they are Apple products. And, Apple certainly turned them into kind of like not a fashion statement, but Carissa, what's it called?
Status symbol.
Status symbol. Thank you. That is exactly the word. Owning, it's not just about having Bluetooth earbuds. It's about having Apple AirPods. Like that's the thing.
Right. It's even funnier too, because I don't even know how many people are actually using them, or do they just leave them sit in their ears like they're the little case just to be seen with them in? Because I see people driving with them all the time, and I know that's kind of like illegal to wear headphones in the car.
I think that Apple AirPods have this thing that you can leave them in and they let enough noise come in, and like they'll actually work as like not kind of speakers, but like it will actually pull
like a hearing aid.
yes, like when you're not listening to any kind of music or anything or any kind of source, it will actually pull sound from outside through little microphones and broadcast them into your ears. So I'm to understand.
That's interesting.
So that, like you said, when they're not in use, they're not completely inhibiting you. That would definitely be helpful for, let's say if you're exercising and someone tries to talk to you, you can just pause your music and not have to remove your ear pods. You could just, keep doing your thing.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's like my whole point with that was they are a status symbol and people seem to enjoy them because they are, to a certain extent, fashion. Headphones are headphones, but they're also fashionable on top of it. I don't know how Apple was able to do that, but that seemed to be the feeling that I'm getting. It seems to be they're doing the same thing with this. You're not just getting you're not just getting noise canceling headphones. Like if you want to look up noise canceling headphones, and these are probably working on Bluetooth as well. Let's see, headphones.
They'll also send you a mail order bride.
For that price, I'm ready to, I'm ready for that. And just looking on Amazon real quick, they have like some pretty basic ones and by basic, I mean, like not even basic, like brands that you've never heard of, Carissa, are like $50. Sony, which is kind of like the kind of entry. I mean, they have some for like $100. Bose, which I would say is, pretty mid to upper tier. You're looking at like $250. And again, Apple is just coming in at like the top end of it. And the only reason I can see them doing that, it's almost like if they marketed them the same price as everything else, they wouldn't be as desirable. The fact that they cost more is probably a marketing move in itself, more so than actually justifying the cost. Like the fact like fashion, you could claim that a dress, a shirt, a purse, whatever is costs way less than that to actually make it, but then the design, the fashion aspect of it adds to the value as well.
Right, and people that are buying Apple products can afford to drop extra money. That's just how it is.
Right. It's pretty crazy. So let's talk about some of the features that this includes that Craig is very enthusiastically kind of showing here. AirPods Max use adaptive EQ to adjust the sound to fit and seal of the ear cushion by measuring the sound signal delivered to a user and adjusting the low and mid-range frequency in real time, bringing the rich audio that captures every detail. So essentially what they're saying there is that they will like this isn't anything unusual for noise canceling. That's it's pretty common, where like that's the difference between kind of noise dampening or just kind of noise reduction versus noise canceling. I don't know if you know about that, Carissa, is that headphones will actually sense like low, medium sound waves and stuff that would normally get in. Like they actually sense what is externally coming, not from the headphones, and they'll actually play like the opposite frequency to that, and it actually cancels out the noise of the background. So if you have, let's say you're sitting on so let's say you're sitting on a train, it would actually detect the sound of the train car running along the tracks, and it will actually play kind of like a that's why they call it noise cancellation. It's actually canceling out the noise, the ambient noise around you. So it's even more
That's so cool.
deafening.
I had no idea. I thought it was just the pillows on the headphones that were keeping all the noise out.
right. And I think that's what a lot of people think is that, it's just kind of noise isolating, where it's just, kind of the soundproofing and that kind of thing. But no, that's what active noise cancellation is.
That's cool.
Many headphones have been doing that, especially Bose has been working in that field for quite a while now. But yeah, that's what these sports. So they do that. Yep. As Craig said, destructive interference. There you go. Good job, Craig. They also mentioned, yes.
If it has a cord, does it have the same functionality, or does that have to be a Bluetooth device to do that active noise canceling?
It works with a cord. Absolutely. In fact, it mostly only worked with the cord because it took so much power to do that. But Bose has been working on that, and yeah, so came with cord first, but yeah. So there's that one. Transparency mode, saying that with AirPods Max, users can switch to transparency mode to simultaneously listen to music while hearing the environment around them, ensuring everything, including a user's own voice, sounds natural while audio plays perfectly. Switching between active noise cancellation and transparency mode can be done with a single press on the noise control button. And Carissa, just like I was saying with the AirPods, how they have the ability to kind of broadcast the noises around them so you can keep them in and still hear around you. Sounds like the same thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Maybe not for that price, but still neat.
Yeah, no. And of course, the last one here, spatial audio. AirPods Max use spatial audio with dynamic head tracking to play sound virtually everywhere in a space, delivering an immersive theater-like experience in 5.1, 7.1 Dolby Atmos. Using the gyroscope and accelerometer in AirPods Max and iPhone or iPad, spatial audio tracks the motion of a user's head as well as the device, compares the motion data, and then remaps the sound field so it stays anchored to the device. So I think what they mean by that, Carissa, is imagine, so a 7.1 is when you have, let's say, two speakers in your front left, front right, center. Behind you, you have back left, back right. You have a subwoofer that's like your one. Essentially, you have 7 speakers all around you, all broadcasting different parts of it. Think of a movie. If something explodes off to the right, imagine a movie theater. Like, you kind of hear it come from your right. It's not just coming from the center of your TV. It's actually spatially there. Yeah. So what this does is, because it only has the one speaker, it's artificially giving you that multiple source, that multiple directions that the sound can come from. And if you actually turn your head, so obviously your headphones are not turning on your head with you, but when you turn your head using the gyroscope, it's going to simulate that, hey, if let's say someone calls your name from the right, if you turn your head to the right, it will then, and then of course you're facing the direction the sound is coming from, it's going to play the sound in both ears as if you are looking straight ahead at whatever is generating the noise. That's something different. That's something I have not heard of from a headphone company.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was possible. That's really cool.
So yeah, and of course, they also mentioned that there's a smart case, lightning USB-C cable to charge the whole thing. The smart case puts the AirPods Max in ultra low power state that helps to preserve the battery life when not in use. Craig also mentioned there that if you take them off and you, as soon as you take them off your head, it knows that, hey, let's say the user put them around their neck. You can have it set so that it will actually pause your music, pause whatever you're doing, and as soon as you put them back on, it will hit play again. Pretty basic, but obviously a lot of the stuff is controlled with the gyroscope, just kind of knowing what the user is doing with their headset.
Right.
Carissa, after reading all this, I got to say that some of the technology is pretty unique. Again, the looks of it are pretty good. Looks like they're using a lot of the, some of the best audio equipment to put into their headphone. Everything put together, and again, some of the new technology that they've put into this, I would easily say this is going to be pretty top of the line when it comes to kind of Bluetooth over-the-ear headphones. This could easily compete in, the $300, $350 range. It's still Apple. It seems like they're still adding on their Apple, $100, $150.
And that's again not really a problem for those who actually want that product anyway. So, I mean, I'd have to try them. They seem really cool though.
Yeah, it seems like they definitely have a lot. I got to say that personally, when you buy headphones, that's a consideration that you normally have to take into, that is a consideration you have to take into consideration, is open back or closed back. So do you want to hear anything around you, or if you want to work in complete isolation, do you want closed back and that kind of thing? For these to be able to be both, I know that some audio engineers, if these things are accurate, if they can really have the fidelity that audio engineers, for example, really need when editing their work, if this thing can double as both, then, it it might just be worth it, because I know people who will spend, $250 on an open back and a closed back. And if it can be both. But, even this article that we found here from MacRumors, a lot of the comments are, saying stuff like $550, LOL, $550, wait, what? For headphones, $550 in all caps, and it doesn't even have a keyboard. That's a Steve Ballmer quote. He's kind of saying, a lot of people are freaking out about the price. I have other questions as to whether or not it can reproduce sound very, very well. They have... Apple is one of the leaders in high fidelity audio. 256 kilobits per second, no compressed audio, that kind of thing. I'm wondering how well it can reproduce those. There's a premium added on here. I would say like an extra $150, but this thing does justify its high price tag to some people, like you said, Carissa. So
yeah. And I mean, that doesn't mean the price isn't going to come down either. They're going to have sales eventually. There's going to be other ones that come out and all that stuff. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know,
you can wait for the second generation
deals, but
yeah, just like an iPad, you can wait for the next generation of iPad and get the previous one that works perfectly fine at a discount. I'll be honest with you, Carissa. I'm a little disappointed that I read through all that we talked about that, and I'm not laughing at Apple after all that. Like, I'm coming away from that story just being like, yeah, 550 is a little high, but it's not crazy. I was not expecting
because they
that.
have you brainwashed into their deals.
That has to be it. That has to be it. So,
yeah.
All right, Apple, good job. I don't know what else to say about that. So we start off light, pretty simple with a headset. Let's talk about some of these other ones. And how about we talk about not the Patriot Act? That's not a lot of fun. All right, since I mentioned this one in the top of the hour, and we can, of course, just mention this real quick. This story came out yesterday. We didn't really talk about it, but SpaceX, yes, the one, the only, the SpaceX, was approved for almost $900 million in funding from the FCC to subsidize Starlink in 35 states. We just had Mike Sturmack on the show, was that last Wednesday, because tomorrow's Wednesday, last Wednesday, talking about the availability of internet. And Carissa, looks like they heard us, because they got an extra $900 million to make it happen.
That's fantastic. Which states are getting it?
Which states, indeed. So the FCC funding, let's see. By the way, and actually, we'll mention this as well. So let's see. So the 35 states, oh boy. Okay. I don't want to list all these out, but states such as Alabama, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wyoming. If you did not hear yourself, then thank you. If you did not hear yourself, then don't worry. This was the part that I wanted to come back to. Well, no, actually, the FCC does provide funding for other companies to service them, and the other companies, and of course, there will be some repeats in there as well. Charter Communications, so Skynet, very, very close actually, but Starlink, SpaceX's Starlink, is getting $886 million from the FCC. Charter Communications is getting $1.22 billion. And so Charter Communications is getting, and then Comcast is getting another chunk of money to service the other 24 states. So, so
we're getting full Starlink, just not all from SpaceX.
Right. Starlink is one of them. I'm sure that the money that Charter Communication is going to be getting is going to go into running cables and fiber optic and lines through, kind of in the ground and over the ground. So, because Charter doesn't really do satellite, they mainly do broadband
Right.
fiber optic and things like that. So, other winners include the LTD broadband, which was awarded $1.32 billion. The Rural Electric Cooperative Consortium, $1.1 billion. Seems like, all in all, I'm looking at here, looks like about $5 billion or about $4 billion was handed out to everyone from AMG to CenturyLink, all these different companies to bring internet to individuals. And, all I can really say is I hope it works, because the current FCC has not been very good at, they've been overestimating a lot of people's access to internet. And if there's one use of the money that they're allowed to, allocate to spur innovation and adoption of faster internet, I hope that they do it right. And I think Starlink is a big winner here. So
Absolutely, especially for those states like where Mike Cermak's at and things like that. But
out in rural Pennsylvania, yeah.
Is it prompted by the coronavirus, you think?
No. The FCC has been handing out money for the longest time, and this seems pretty par for the course. The amount of money actually seems a little bit lower than I recall for past years. But you know what? $4 billion to get more and more people connected to high-speed internet. You can always say, I want more, but at some point you just got to say, it's something. It's something, and we'll take it. So Good job by the FCC for finally doing that. Okay. Now, definitely. Story number 2, story number 3. Man, there's a lot of good ones here about Google, and we can talk about those in a big lump. This one might be fun to talk to you, Carissa, about. Let's talk about Christopher Nolan real quick. And movies. So, and let me just get your initial impression off this, Carissa. So, obviously, coronavirus, movie theaters closed down, direct to streaming. If you want to release a movie, think like Mulan. That went straight to Disney Plus. Some other movies are going straight to, let's say, HBO Max. That was the big move with Warner Brothers. We're saying that they were going to simultaneously release their big movies in people's homes through HBO Max, as well as in movie theaters whenever they eventually reopen. In your opinion, how has the transition from the movie theater been, because I'm assuming that you went to go see movies, to now seeing almost no movies in movie theaters?
A little bit sad, because I actually like movie theaters. I know they're expensive and people have opinions on them, but I like them personally. I like the experience.
I personally hate them. I mean, if I needed to hear a movie with people talking over it, people chewing loudly, with people, just answering their cell phones, boy, I can't think of a worse movie-going experience than the movies. But like you said, people have opinions. That's just people. Well, HBO Max has a new announcement saying, and Christopher Nolan, who's he's very traditional when it comes to movies. And, kind of going through the Academy and the way that they get nominated for awards and things like that. Man, Hollywood can be very stuck up with its own, or, kind of with movies and what qualifies as film and cinema. But I digress. They have a quote here saying that some of our industry's biggest filmmakers and most important movie stars went to bed the night before thinking that they were working for the greatest movie studio and woke up to find out that they were working for the worst streaming service. They mentioned to The Hollywood Reporter, he added that the studio had an incredible machine for getting a filmmaker's work out everywhere, but claims it's dismantling it in a move that makes no economic sense. And of course, the move that he is talking about would be this article right here, which will include the show notes. We did not mention this. This happened 5 days ago. Warner Brothers will release all of its new 2021 movies simultaneously on HBO Max.
That's something.
Yeah, that sign of the times. If nothing else, sign of the times.
But all at the same time, how are you going to do that? And that's only going to give you a quick boost to your viewing if you're not spreading it out, because people are just going to sit there and binge all day long for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then they're not going to have anything to watch.
Well, and of course, this is for their movies. And of course, they meant simultaneously, as in when they release in theaters, the same day it's going to be available in your home.
I thought it was like a bulk upload.
No,
I was like, what the heck?
Wrong, simultaneously. So not simultaneously as in all together, but simultaneously as in movie theater and streaming. But then, of course, there's probably going to be a price. Looking through the article here, I'm not sure if they mentioned one or if it's going to be on a piece-by-piece basis. But really, you could think of, let's see. They mentioned that HBO Max is going to be, let's see, so obviously through this, HBO Max is about $70, $70 to a year. So that's about $70 for 6 months, I think. So 6 months, $70, $12, and for about the price of a movie ticket, you get access to HBO Max for $6, and you get to see all of the latest movies that that Warner Brothers comes out with.
With no additional fees.
No additional fees, as far as I can tell.
All right.
And the article here mentioned that it was a simple decision, saying that the executives haven't tried to hide how important HBO Max is to the future of the business. And, well, they tried to release a movie in theaters during the pandemic, which was Tenet, and the studio lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Oof. These factors, on top of the resurgence of COVID-19, because actually today history was made, the first ever approved vaccine was administered to a person. So congratulations to that. Yeah, awesome. The beginning of the end, but like in a good way. The beginning of the end of the pandemic, but still, the coronavirus is going to be around for months and months and months. It takes a long time to get all these people, kind of vaccinated. But they don't have time to wait for that. They have movies sitting in, catalogs that they have already shot, produced, and are just sitting there, and they're losing money every single day that they're not being released. So I guess, Chris, the financial decision of it all was release it simultaneously, take the big hit either way. I mean, people are not going to go to the movie theaters really for any movie. And even if they did want to pack the theaters, state and local laws all over this country are going to prohibit how many people can actually sit in the theaters and, kind of earn you revenue. Like, even if it was the most anticipated movie of ever, you just physically cannot get enough people safely into movie theaters to make a buck.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just not going to happen. So financially speaking, what they're saying is they can if they make this deal, they can at least get the people at home watching your movie. They can add that to any kind of gross and, the viewership and that kind of thing. And they can goose the subscription rates they're hoping for HBO Max. That's the goal. And then, of course, here we have Christopher Nolan taking exception to this. And just saying, hey, this is a bad idea. Although I don't know, Chris. I feel like this is the best of a bad situation. And I would say that the pandemic is a bad situation for movies.
Yeah, I agree. And this is way better than the Mulan situation. This is, as a consumer, this is what I would have wanted, because you're already paying monthly for these services. Why doesn't the stuff come out on it anyway? And exactly, like they're gonna make no money on this anyway, if they put it in the thing or not. You might as well release it and let somebody enjoy it.
Right. So let's see. So some of the other words from Nolan mentioned there's such controversy around it because Warner Brothers didn't tell anyone. In 2021, they've got some of the top filmmakers in the world. They've got some of the biggest stars in the world who went into these projects very, very close to their hearts, and that are meant to be big screen experiences. They're meant to be out there for the widest possible audiences, and now they're being used as a loss leader for the streaming service without any consultation. Again, Hollywood can get so high horse about this. I got to push back on Nolan on this one. Man, to say that, they pour their hearts and souls into this, and they are meant to be big screen experiences and so on and so forth. And then he says they're meant to be out there for the widest possible audiences. I get it. Not everyone is going to subscribe to HBO, kind of Max or whatever. But in-home, kind of watching it in a person's home, I would argue is a much wider audience than a movie theater.
Absolutely, because people don't want to spend that much money. Some people don't want to spend the money on movie theaters. They just don't.
Right. So, and by the way, some of the films that could be affected here, just so, we're not talking about films no one has heard of. Some of the films include, there's a Tom and Jerry movie?
Huh?
Whoa. Stop the whole story. Tom and Jerry movie. Whoa. Tom and Jerry movie, 2021.
It's not live action, is it?
Let's see. Tom and Jerry, released internationally. Tom and Jerry, the movie, is an upcoming American live-action computer-animated slapstick comedy film based on the characters by Hanna-Barbera. The film is directed by Tim Story and Kevin Costello. Let's see. It stars the famous cat and mouse duo, other voice actors Mel Blanc and June Foray, via archival recording. So this is going to be really authentic.
We're going to have another Sonic situation on our hands is what's going to happen right here.
Actually, a little different. This is pretty cool. Originally intended as a live-action computer animated film. So think Ghostbusters, think... just Garfield, the ever so perfect movie that is Garfield, a tale of two kitties, beautiful cinema. So think like that. I guess that's what Tom and Jerry was supposed to be. Anyways, it was in what they have dubbed development hell, which for those of you who don't know, that's when it kind of bounces from development studio and, people get the contract to make the thing, but then they won't fund it. But then they have arguments on how it should be made. They lose their director. So many things can go wrong before it actually gets even filmed. Again, development hell. It was locked in there with plans going to an all animated film, promising to capture the same veins as the classic cartoons in the 1940s and 50s in 2015. In 2018, the film was confirmed to keep these veins while officially being a live-action animated film, which would begin filming in 2019. So it's slated to be released March 5th, 2021, and of course, a simultaneous release on HBO Max. Live action, but also filmed. I had no idea. Don't get me wrong, I have no idea what movies are coming out, but Tom and Jerry, that caught me off guard, Carissa.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. And it's just another one of those things where I'm like, yes, another pile of regurgitated content. Delightful. Give it to me.
I'm hoping it's
May I have another?
I thank you. I'm hoping it's not regurgitated as much as it is rehashed. I mean, they did mention that they're using a lot of the old, kind of old voice acting, and they're, kind of doing that. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that.
We'll see how it goes.
Yep, the Suicide Squad, Dune, which is probably going to be one of the biggest movies of the year. Godzilla versus Kong. Yes, King Kong versus Godzilla.
Ooh.
Also highly anticipated. Should have an HBO Max simultaneous release. Mortal Kombat, the recreation of the original Mortal Kombat, the 1990s video game film, that was just awful and amazing at the same time.
Sometimes you don't watch them because they're good. You watch them because they're so bad.
Because they're schlock. Because they are schlock. But they're good schlock. Yep. They're fun. So In the Heights, Space Jam, A New Legacy. Yes, that's right. We have a sequel to Space Jam. Everyone was asking for it.
Is Michael Jordan going to be in it? Because if it's not, I don't want to watch it.
I don't know. Let's go real quick. Space Jam, A New Legacy. Let's go ahead and see that. And Craig,
Probably
I don't
not.
think Wonder Woman is from... Wait, is Wonder Woman Warner Brothers? I don't think so. Is it?
I don't know.
Anyway, not mentioned in the list. But yeah, so... Oh, actually, don't get me wrong. Michael Jordan will probably have a cameo, but I actually recall this. Space Jam: A New Legacy is going to have LeBron James
that's the
play
other guy
the
I
lead.
was thinking of.
Yes, so like a new, kind of iteration on the film. And of course, Carissa, your favorite, Matrix 4 as well.
Excellent. It's Keanu Reeves in that one.
Yes. Keanu Reeves indeed.
Fantastic.
So yeah, all of these movies will have a simultaneous release in people's homes. And don't get me wrong, I don't know, Chris. I feel like if people are, yes, we mentioned Dune, Greg. I feel like if people are really excited about, let's say, just Dune or Space Jam or Mortal Kombat, like if they're just excited about one or two of these films, they probably won't be enticed to subscribe to the service. But I do think that this does put, kind of a lesser known HBO Max, the streaming service, that does put it on a little bit of a different tier.
I mean, I agree, but I also think that it might even be a hook, because I've done it for far less personally. For very specific TV shows, I subscribe and unsubscribe from things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But this, not having the additional fee, quite like, Disney Plus did, might actually pull people in, because then they'd be like, oh, well, I can watch these movies. I kind of want to see them, but there's also a lot of other stuff on there that I want to watch. So it might be more of a hook,
Right.
because of the way they're doing it.
Right. I'm overall, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead.
Like it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and transition away from the story. But Christopher Nolan, hey, maybe it's just salty because, Tenet, which again lost hundreds of millions of dollars in theaters, that was a Christopher Nolan movie. So, yeah.
Well, good thing he's got all that money from all his other movies.
Yeah, thank goodness. He's going to be just fine, and so is everyone else. And I don't know. I think most people should have expected to see this coming. I mean, when the pandemic hit, there was this big transition to working from home, to food delivery services, to restaurants having takeout and kind of curbside pickup and things like that. There were a lot of quick transitions. And we can't all expect that when the vaccine comes out, everything just instantly goes back to the way it was. There's going to be some things that kind of stick and, are never going to be the same again. Carissa, I'm personally kind of hoping because, hey, I've spent a lot of time and energy and resources making my home entertainment setup the best entertainment setup for me. And, to be kind of, to be told that, hey, no, you have to go to a theater to see this, for the first 6 months. Yeah, I felt like that was kind of bogus. So I don't know. I'm ready for the change, and the industry at large is going to fight it along the way. So
it will, but I don't think there's any way around it.
Yep. Things are going to change. So, okay. So there's that. Let's see. So we can talk about leaks. Tom and Jerry. I did not see that coming. All right. So just real quick, for everyone out there who feels bad about, maybe using their default password on their router, which, by the way, go ahead and change that. Trust me, you're going to be happy you did. This one puts it on another level. GE puts default password in radiology devices, leaving healthcare networks exposed. And this is something that is usually published after these companies are made aware of it. But let's face it, actually, how many of them actually changed and made sure that this was fixed is probably a small handful compared to the number that are out there. Mm-hmm. So, dozens of radiology products from GE Healthcare contain a critical vulnerability that threaten the networks of hospitals all over the country. And the devices such as CT scans, MRIs, X-rays, mammograms, ultrasounds, positron emission tomography use a default password to receive regular maintenance. So obviously, Chris, if you've ever purchased a router, yeah, most of the, back in the day, a lot of them came with like username admin, password admin, or, some kind of like basic default password that was super simple. And, right. It was up to the end user to go ahead and change it. There have been long since been, and I mean like the past 6, 7, 8 years, I don't know if you've set up any kind of Wi-Fi connected device lately, Carissa, but like anything that like emits a Wi-Fi nowadays has this thing where it's like, oh, and it's a randomly generated password, such as like yellow ocean, purple umbrella. They take 2 random words, cram them together, and throw a couple numbers on at the end. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, we've got that
Yeah.
set up on ours, but we obviously have changed it since then.
Right. But at
I've
least
seen it.
that, yeah, but at least that's more secure than, default or admin
Right.
or something like that.
But you even said it yourself, like the end user is supposed to change this stuff. So
Yes.
like, yes, GE should have been better about it, but the hospital needs to too.
Absolutely. No. The hospital at the end of the day, the hospital is going to be the one responsible for, any kind of security flaws or illegal access to its information through its facilities. That is the purpose of the IT department. That is why they're there. But when you're talking about a device such as a machine that does MRIs, which off the top of my head, those things cost, let's see, MRI machine costs. Let's say you want to, let's see, some can be as cheap as $150,000. Some could be as expensive as $1.2 million. Some of the top of the line ones can be up to $3 million. Carissa, when you buy these things and you set them up and you have your engineers in there, they get the room all set up. They put it all together. When all that's done, no, the hospital wants to start using it right away, get patients in there, that kind of thing. They don't sit there and think, is someone going to be able to hook up their laptop, connect to it, and then, of course, through all the shielding and, these rooms are shielded to the nth degree so that anyone, the magnetic radiation that emanates off these machines isn't going to affect any other equipment. You pretty much have to be like touching the machine to be able to access the, kind of the software of it. But the hospital is not going to be like, all right, get the nerdy IT guys in here to change the password. No, they're going to start using it as soon as it's operational. Security in this part, I can see why it takes a backseat. But here we have an article talking about the dangers of, it's... Again, you can see why they do it, but it's very easy to solve. It's just no one ever does it, I guess, is the point with this one.
Right. And you'd think they would take the extra 3 minutes to get the guy in there to change the password. He's already there.
Yeah. And
why didn't he know better? I don't know. It just seems bogus to me. Excuses.
Yeah. Well, no. And trust me, a lot of security flaws in healthcare and a lot of security flaws in the enterprise world in general, and especially government agencies as well. A lot of it is like, oh, on your home computer, set a strong password, use a password manager, change your default passwords, and set up two-factor authentication. Very simple stuff. But when it comes to kind of a corporate enterprise level, no, these things are not done because they are very time-consuming and inefficient. Carissa, I don't know if you recall when we were talking about the elections and why elections aren't held online. You saw that some of the parts that in Estonia that they said kind of where does Estonia's security kind of fall short to protect their election. They had an official government ordered video, kind of showing, here's how the elections run, kind of like a promotional video. And the video itself captured a piece of paper stuck up on the wall saying, here's the Wi-Fi password, and here's the Wi-Fi network, go ahead and log on here. And that was like, distributed by the government itself. Like little things like that fall through the cracks all the time.
It's, I guess it's going to happen, but I don't know. Why isn't somebody paying better attention?
Yeah, well, hey, that's why
somebody's job.
Yeah, well, yeah,
they
that's
should be
why
fired.
That's why articles like these exist, is to kind of call them out and say, hey, there's a real simple issue that we can solve here. It's a very important issue. And by the way, a quote from GE Healthcare in response to this saying that we are not aware of any unauthorized access to data or incident where this potential vulnerability has been exploited in a clinical situation. We have conducted a full risk assessment and concluded that there are no patient safety concerns. Maintaining the safety, quality, and security of our devices is our highest priority. We are providing on-site assistance to ensure credentials are changed properly and confirm proper configuration of the product firewalls. Additionally, we are advising the facilities where these devices are located to follow network management and security best practices. Essentially, what that means in layman's terms is, well, we've looked into it. We can't prove that anyone illegally accessed any kind of information from our equipment because, hey, that'd be very hard to do. And also, we have advised everyone, change your frickin' passwords. And then on top of that, set up your frickin' firewalls. And hey, we're going to keep recommending that they do that. So,
well, at least that's all they can do.
That's what GE has to say about it. Yeah, that's what GE has to say about it. It's up to everyone else to kind of follow it.
Oh, again, you didn't read the manual? I'm so sorry. You would have known to do these things if you actually listened to what I said with your ears, like.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, like, for your cell phone, you kind of, when you set up your cell phone, they have you put in a password. For your computer, you set up your PIN for your computer. There's probably not a very good onboarding process for the latest Lightspeed Pro 16 MRI machine. That cost $3 million, took 4 months to get put into place. There's probably not as good of an onboarding process, but it's a consideration to kind of, to consider. So.
Mm-hmm. And that still blows my mind. $3 million and you don't have a good onboarding process? Ridiculous.
Yeah. Well,
that's fine.
That's fine. That's medical equipment for you. It's just medical equipment is essentially a glorified toaster. It may be a lot more sophisticated, but let's face it, it's still just a computer at the end of the day. So, yeah, it needs to be treated the exact same way. Hey, how about this one real quick? GPUs, they're in short supply, in high demand, and, well, I couldn't resist this image here from Ars Technica. Grand Theft GPU, $340,000 worth of RTX 3090s, quote unquote, fell off of a truck in China.
I like how they put quotes around that.
Yeah, it just fell off of a truck. No one knows where they were. Yeah, the delivery guys had no idea. So, sometime last week, thieves stole a large number of NVIDIA-based RTX 3090 graphics cards from an MSI factory in mainland China. The news comes from Twitter, who posted what appears to be an official MSI internal document about the theft this morning, along with commentary from a Chinese language website, roughly translated, in other words, OCR scanned, run through Google Translate, and with the nastiest edges sawed off by the author of this article, it says it read something like this. So again, this is translated by Google Translate. This is not going to be perfect. First, recently, high unit price display cards, so RTX 3090s, produced by the company, have been stolen by criminals. The case has been reported to the police, and he hopes that all the employees of the company will act truthfully. And I think what they mean there is if there's any kind of police contact, kind of speak the truth to the police. Anyone providing information will receive 100,000 yuan. Yuan. I don't think it's yuan. The company promises to keep the identity of the whistleblower strictly confidential. Let's see. So stay professional, stay ethical, stay truthful, assist in recovery of the items, all that kind of thing. MSI is just saying, hey, we lost a bunch of graphics cards. If you know anything, please report it. And So, with that being said, about 40 containers of RTX 3090 cards, a total value of about 2.2 million renminbi, which is about $336,000. If the report is correct and refers to the price of the graphics cards, about 224 stolen RTXs are probably on the market right now.
I think it was a gang of gamers who couldn't afford them and they just hijacked the truck.
Well, that's the thing,
extreme Chinese gamers.
I did say that the supply was short, and even 224 doesn't sound like a lot of GPUs, but consider, Carissa, that some eBay scalpers have gotten legitimate bids of up to $20,000 $6,000 for a single RTX card. With typical auctions, so this is like your average RTX 3090, about $2,600. So like the street, this is almost like drugs. Like the street value is, the MSRP is $1,500. But in the streets for, addicted gamers who just need their latest graphics card fix, you can get almost you can get almost twice that on street value. So yeah, over $500,000 worth of graphics cards stolen.
Impressive.
The supply gets even slimmer. So sad.
And I wonder how they're going to find that too. Like, is this just what the heck?
I mean, a good place to start.
Had to be a heist.
A good place to start is probably going to be eBay, and see who has suddenly 226 new auctions of RTX 3090s.
That's an idea.
Speaking of video games, I just got to give a quick shout out to World of Warcraft Shadowlands. This coming out today, actually during a call with it was like an investors call or something like that. But anyways, World of Warcraft Shadowlands has become the fastest selling PC game ever. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. I have something for that. Yeah. So beautiful. Perfect. Selling about 3.7 million copies in the first 24 hours. It's crazy. Carissa,
Wow.
would you like to take a random guess? Quiet audience. Would you like to take a random guess as to what the previous record holder was? What video game for the PC sold 3.5 million copies in the past?
I'm going to say Halo.
Close, but it's actually Diablo 3.
Oh.
Diablo
That
3
makes sense.
was the previous record holder for that. Shadowlands at 3.7. And, I got to say that if there were not a pandemic, Diablo would probably still have that title. But so many people have been looking forward to this game. And hey, let's just face it, more people playing video games definitely contributed to this. But hey, when the stars align, 3.7 million copies of a game, of the latest expansion of a game that has been out for 16 years.
Well,
Wow,
the difference
it's
is you can talk to your friends. You can get on there and hang out with your friends and do stuff. It's the same perk as Animal Crossing.
It is very social. MMOs are always very social. The massively multiplayer online game. So, by the way, some of the other fun facts that they threw out there were that the online RPG had the highest number of subscribed players in the months up to and immediately after an expansion launch, compared to any point in the last decade. So in the past 10 years, WoW is at its high point. More people have been playing year to date in the same period in the past 10 years, and the total player time for the time frame nearly doubled compared to the same point in 2019. Pretty average numbers, like if I'm being completely honest. There wasn't really a lot going on a year ago, but still, it's definitely a good thing for Blizzard. Let's see. So there's some caveats. Blizzard is clearly focused on paid games, not free-to-play or giveaways. The Total War Saga Troy giveaway saw 7.5 million people claim a copy within 24 hours. And by the way, I wouldn't count that either. Free-to-play, anyone who wants a copy can get a copy, and they gave away 7.5 million copies. Bots exist. Like when there's a paywall of like $50, and even on top of that, some people had to pay like $100 if you don't own any part of the game. $100 stops a lot of people as compared to a completely free game. Also, it's also notable that other World of Warcraft expansions have come close. Cataclysm sold 3.3 million copies in 2010. Shadowlands is doing well, but all-time highs aren't that much higher. So, pretty cool.
Still higher, though, but not that much higher.
Definitely. So they also want to wrap it up by saying that WoW was one of the most popular games of any kind for a long time, but faded in recent years as rival online experiences and an aging engine worked against it. Virtually any other MMO would have been on the cusp of shutting it down if it hadn't already. But I got to say, the author doesn't know what they're talking about. The filthy liars. The question, of course, is whether or not this is sustainable, and there's no guarantee that people will keep playing as the pandemic eases in 2021. Yeah, this guy does not know what he's talking about. So,
if you get hooked, you're still going to be playing. If you've played World of Warcraft for 15 hours a day for months and months and months, chances are you're going to need a little fix at some point throughout the day.
You know, WoW is like a dinosaur, but not even like a dinosaur. WoW is like the shark, where the shark has been around before dinosaurs. Dinosaurs had come and gone, and sharks are still there in their original form. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things that when it comes to World of Warcraft, like they still charge $15 a month when almost every other game out there is like a free-to-play model. WoW hasn't changed, and WoW is not going anywhere. And heck, if anything, it's seeing a resurgence, which is doubly surprising. So, Carissa, hey, sorry to drag you down my World of Warcraft, kind of hole there, but hey, I like the game. So, everyone, thank you so much for tuning into the show, and hey, be sure to catch us here next time, same place here. Carissa, tomorrow we have, we have Sandy Burger, where we're going to be talking about some holiday gift ideas and some smart home technology. See you then. Bye, Carissa. Bye, everyone else.
Bye.